Cheers, Nick. Ready to go. And they're off. A very slow to gather stride there was Pullman Brown from stall number 3 as they race away for the Tokesport.com new customer free bet handicap stakes over the extended mile. With the lead early on is Amy Blair, who went to post early, showing the way from Jacob Black and Maifalki. Racing around the outside then is Reinforced. That one a good couple of lengths ahead of Tio Maria. Next on the inside is Fleetfoot Jack, then Haymarket, another length back to Natter Jack, who in turn is a length and a half ahead of Cliff Bay. Then What Wonders Weave towards the back end of the field. Second to last is Mustaqbal, and the back marker in blue and white is the slow to stride Pullman Brown. Just over 5 furlongs to go. Amy Blair under Connor Beasley leads the way. From in second, Jacob Black. Reinforced is placed in third. Maifalki is behind these in fourth. And then Fleetfoot Jack to the outside of him, the filly Tio Maria. A couple of lengths away to Natter Jack and Haymarket, and What Wonders Weave towards the inside fence. Behind that one is Mustaqbal, Cliff Bay wider out, and Pullman Brown is the back marker. Amy Blair and Jacob Black getting away from the others. 4 lengths now back to the third, Maifalki. Then the ridden along Reinforced. Cliff Bay is trying to pick up now down the outside. Mustaqbal's trying to spy the gap 3 runners as Jacob Black is cruising to the outside of Amy Blair, who is hard and under pressure. Racing inside the final 2, Jacob Black now sent about his work under Jason Hart. Races a couple of lengths in front to Maifalki in second now. Then came Amy Blair and Cliff Bay in front of Fleetfoot Jack. They're running down inside the final furlong. Jacob Black now looking to see this out from Maifalki, who's trying hard down the outside. Maifalki is gathering in Jacob Black, and Maifalki will get up to him. Maifalki from Jacob Black. Very tight for third. Fleetfoot Jack involved for that, along with Cliff Bay, and handy in fifth at the line, Mustaqbal.
Jacob Black has been overturned here by Maifalki under Ross Orion for Jason Ward. It's a third win for Maifalki, who has mastered Jacob Black, who ran under a penalty, having had that win at Musselburgh just 3 days ago. Connections got that horse out quick in search of another win, but he's been overturned here by Maifalki. You can see there Jacob Black, the eventual second, was sat off the pace set by Amy Blair, who knows how to win around here. And it did look as though the horse was about to clock up successive wins within a couple of days, but credit to the performance of the winner.
Yeah, he's travelled all over like the best horse in the race, hasn't he, Jacob Black? But I think he's found himself in front plenty early enough, hasn't he? Chasing Amy Blair, who set a pretty strong pace by the looks of it. And I think with his exertions of 3 days ago, just catching up with him, he's just...
Is that a case? Is that what's happening there? Do you think he's just... The jockey's trying to get everything out of him, and he's just tired? He did win so easily the other day.
I think it's a combination of the two things. The fact that he's chased a relatively strong pace, found himself in front fully 2 furlongs out, and then that last sort of uphill furlong, that those things combined with coming back off a 3-day break have just conspired to get him beaten, I think.
Credit to the winner, though, as we said. He's come off a long layoff, off since late January, so some 4 months or so now, or 3.5 months. Returned to the turf and has gone in here for the first time, actually, on turf. 6th start on turf. And Maifalki has won the concluding race from Jacob Black. We haven't got the result yet. We'll hopefully tidy up the SP for third.
A fourth Pretty Polly in 5 years for John Gosden, and we know what some previous winners have gone on to do. Your immediate reaction to that performance, John?
Well, obviously Frankie said they didn't go much pace. William just playing with the pace in front, riding as well as ever. And so Frankie said, I better bet close because this is going to be a bit of a dash. And you know that they're experienced fillies, and I'll be quite honest, this ground was quick enough for her. But he kept right. He said he had plenty left, just running down the dip on good to firm ground. He was organising her a little bit, which is the second race of her life. And he said as soon as he was meeting the last furlong, he knew he had plenty left. She wants 1.5 miles now on good ground, and they will see the very best of her. But that's in the second race of her life, so she learned a lot today.
And given what you've seen today, how strong she's been at the finish, how she went through it, are you happy you came here and didn't go Chester?
Well, yeah, I mean, it gives us a bit more time, and the advantage is that we can... we probably go to Epsom for the morning breakfast for the Star and that game, and just to have a nice feel of the hill there. with Frank, and he thinks it'll be a great idea, and he's very keen for her to go to the Oaks. And they usually do a beautiful job of the ground at Epsom, so I'd be very happy.
And given that she's been well on top at the finish, I mean, that sort of echoes what you said you expected beforehand.
Yeah, she's all over a mile and a half. I mean, she adored the mile and a quarter on testing ground at Newbury first time out. This is a different ball game today against the experienced fillies playing with the pace, so it takes a lot of getting. You know, it's a very nice filly, the Frankel filly behind her, who found it a bit too big a jump so soon. So I'm more than delighted, because if this race today was a mile 3 on good ground, she'd have won by 6. You know, it's a big difference.
And given what happened with Somi Dar, of course, you and the owners sort of have that almost bit of unfinished business with the Oaks. Hopefully you get to go there with this filly.
A few got knocked over and should have won it, and it wasn't a great Oaks, and that was another unpleasant affair. And poor little, her sister won the Musadora by 5, doing handstands, and then came up with a little tibia problem. So, yeah, it hasn't been a lucky race. We won't mention that. We'll go and have the sausages, breakfast of the stars time, see how we get on.
Quite right. Thanks for your time. Well done, John.
Okay.
Cheers.
John Gosden, who's won the Pretty Polly Stakes there for four of the last 5 years now, to Gruda, kicking off a sequence of 3, and then of course Lati Dar, who is the Oaks favourite. We're still waiting that third place finish there in the 4:55 at Hamilton, the race where Maifalki has just run down Jacob Black. But we've come to the end of proceedings on the first day of the season of 2018 at Hamilton, and time to get the thoughts and wrap up with the man to my left. And it's been a busy day, of course, at HQ, but it's been good to see the action at Hamilton, and we kicked off with Amazing Grazing, reversing a bit of form.
Yeah, and that was a reasonably easy race to assess, wasn't it? Nothing came from too far off the pace. Amazing Grazing won quite convincingly by 2 lengths in the end, in a time that was roughly equivalent to the next race that we saw, which was probably the best race on the card.
It was indeed. It was the Totesport.com Tangerine Trees Condition Stakes, named after that terrific sprinter who was evergreen. And in the form of Savalas, we've got a hat-trick winner now, who's beaten Lake Volta, who was down in trip, back onto the turf for the first time. Bengali Boys was closing all the way to the line, but you didn't ever think he was going to get there.
No, Savalas and Lake Volta tended to they kind of put speed into the race, didn't they, about 2 furlongs out, and caught Bengali Boys flat-footed. He wasn't able to go with them. They had a real set 2 throughout that final furlong, and neither of them was giving an inch.
I'm sure he had to be tough, Savalas, didn't he? Because Lake Volta was nipping at his, well, not nipping at his heels, he was on his quarters the whole time.
Yeah, he's tough and progressive, and another good sprinter for Mrs. Angie Bailey. They've had quite a few over the years, haven't they?
Yeah, indeed. Boulder Bob has really stepped forward, well positioned in the run, actually, off the pace-setting Corton Lad in the 1 mile 5 2:35, which was the chief supporting race on the card. But Boulder Bob, who pretty lightly raced, has definitely stepped forward, and of course reversed form with the likes of Starplex and co.
Yeah, and Boulder Bob quite clearly needed his run first time out, didn't he, when he finished behind a few that he was taking on today. He looked very, very progressive last summer, mainly on soft ground, and you can see from the kind of action that he's got that he probably wouldn't want the ground too quick. I think today's conditions were ideal for him. He wandered about a little bit when he was in front, but he was a convincing winner in the end.
Still lacking this result at Hamilton from the last. In terms of other action that you've seen on the card, and actually just on that previous race, Donaghy's Girl not getting too much for a run, a couple of checks there, but in terms of what else you've seen in the run, what else stood out today?
Yeah, I think we've covered the best of the card there, haven't we? Rapid applause